Sci-Fi movie nerds, and welcome to the Sci-Fi Movie Guy weekly show number 21. I'm very lucky to have two guests in the studio today. First, I've got Jay and Jason. So I've always wanted to be able to say this. So, hi, my name's Mike, and this is my buddy Jay, and this is my other buddy Jay. So, yeah, that's just always wanted to say that. So we are doing weekly show number 21. As we do, we always start with Star Wars news, and we're going to jump right into our first story. So our first story today is we have Jason from the charity Trench Run Rebels. Jason, tell us a little bit about the charity, how it started, what it's all about, and where people can donate.
Well, Trench Run Rebels originally started back actually as a local boy that I found out that was really, really sick. And it really tugged at my heartstrings, and I wanted to do something to help out him and his family. I had a growing social media following at the time, and I thought maybe I can put the social media following to good use and do something with that. So I kind of invented Trench Run Rebels to pull from that social media following and try to raise money and raise awareness for this sick family at the time. And mainly through Instagram and Twitter, I started getting artists to donate to the cause. They would donate paintings and drawings and different things, and I would auction them off on eBay and take that money and give it directly to the family, the local family here. And it kind of grew from there. We reached a certain plateau of helping that family, and they didn't really need the help anymore. So then we branched out and we started helping different families around the country and around North America. And it just got more involved, and it's branched and grown, and it's become a really neat thing.
So how do people donate if they want to donate to your charity? Are they buying t-shirts? Are they buying paintings? Is there a website? Is there a place they can go to look at what you have?
Well, currently right now, we're not doing any fundraising for Trench Run Rebels. We don't have a drive for that right now. Another group that I'm associated with called the Black Death Crew. The Canadian squadron for that is the Arctic Assault. If you search hashtags Black Death Crew or Arctic Assault on Instagram, you'll find a lot of stuff that's happening right now. The Arctic Assault, we just had this last month was our fundraising month, and we raised a lot of money for the Terry Fox Run Foundation. That's coming to an end right now, but if you search it, you'll find other things that'll be coming up in the months ahead. And those have to do with toy donations, where you can donate a small amount of money and get your name in for a prize draw, stuff to that effect. And there's t-shirts and things like that you can buy. But searching the hashtags is probably the best way to do that right now.
Fantastic. Thank you. And as you saw, I had some of the pictures scrolling there for you guys to do. And at the end of the show in the credits, I'm going to have some links, different things where you guys can go check that out as well. So our second story today is last night, Rebel Season 3, Episode 2, The Holocrons of Fate was on. And it is the follow-up to the opening season premiere for Season 3. And I got to tell you, this did not disappoint. I was really expecting the second episode to be a filler, like we got in some of I don't know if you noticed, but in Season 1, there was a lot of really exciting episodes and then a couple filler episodes and some really exciting episodes. They did not disappoint. This was not a filler episode by any means. I'll let you talk about it first. What did you think, Jason?
I think it was fantastic. I think it's really neat to see the growth of Ezra and how he's really starting to be pulled by the dark side. And it's neat to see that kind of fight between the dark side and the light side. It's interesting to see him interact with the Sith holocron and, not really understanding maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And they're drawing a lot of parallels with him and Anakin, how he's craving it. I don't want my friends to hurt anymore, so I got to have more power. And it's really interesting to see that fight with the dark side.
And there's going to be spoiler alert here, just so you all know. So if you haven't seen this episode, bookmark, or I'll do this at the end when we're done spoiling, so you can just mute it right now and then you can come back afterwards. Jay, you haven't seen this episode yet, right?
Not yet.
You're still catching up.
Yeah.
You're in season.
I'm just about to start the season, actually. So.
Oh, so you've caught up on season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So you saw the season 2 finale with Darth Vader and how that ended. Yeah. Well, I think season 3 is picked up on a great note. Like it's not it hasn't lagged at all.
No, and it's good that the tone's getting darker, and you can notice that there's that evolution of the character where it's the Anakin parallels. But you have to do that because he's got a lightsaber. And
So at the end of this episode, when they're looking into these Sith holocrons, and Ezra's seeing and Maul is seeing this vision, do you think Maul's running the vision? Like, do you think Ezra's just watching what Maul wants him to see? Or do you think they're both influencing the vision? Because I think maybe because Maul is so much stronger with the Force, I think that whole vision was Maul's vision and what he was looking for. And I think Ezra was just watching it.
That's an interesting question. I hadn't thought that. But now that you mention it, I know when they first opened the holocrons, what does he say? Maul says something to the effect that there's nothingness, there's just a void, there's an emptiness. And then he said, I have to go deeper. And and then Ezra was just kind of along for the ride, I guess.
That's how I felt.
When he gets into the vision, and I don't know if we want to talk about this.
Spoilers heavy, go for it.
Spoilers heavy. Maul saw Obi-Wan.
Yes.
His game plan is Obi-Wan. He wants to get rid of him. And seeing that he's alive.
And that's the reason why I think Ezra was along for the ride, because Ezra says, I see a planet with 2 suns. And that totally goes back to Tatooine, where Obi-Wan is hiding. So that's what made me think Ezra is not in control of this vision at all. This is what Maul wanted. He wanted to find out what happened to Obi-Wan. Is he alive? Now, if Rebels this season doesn't take a Maul Obi-Wan break and go off and do that episode, I'm going to be so disappointed. Like, I am going to lose my shit because you set it up perfectly. Now do it. Don't, like in the Clone Wars, I don't know if you watch the animated series, the Clone Wars, they took their time getting to some of these stories. They'd set you up and they jumped around way too much.
Very episodic.
I need this to be in the first 10 episodes of Rebels for me to, really feel the impact of this. I don't want to see it in season 5, 2 years down the road.
Yeah.
I want to see Maul have an integral part moving forward. And I wouldn't even mind if Obi-Wan kills Maul for good. And that's how his story arc ends, is on Tatooine. Maybe he goes and he finds Luke, and he finds out about Luke, and Obi-Wan has to go and save Luke, but Luke doesn't know it's happening.
Yeah, that would be.
And it's all kind of in the background, and Obi-Wan kills Maul and doesn't reveal any of this stuff happened to Luke or his family, and just walks off into the sunset again to be the old hermit.
Crazy old hermit.
I think that would be a really great story arc for this.
I think that, there's rumors out right now that Rebels might not go much more beyond 4 seasons. They're saying
4 seasons.
4 seasons might be the end of it. So certainly they'd have to squeeze that Maul Obi-Wan storyline within the next couple seasons. But like Vader in the last episode of last season, that's like the big finale, having Vader in there. I think Obi-Wan, the earliest we'd see him is the final episode of this season.
Okay.
Because he's going to be a big draw, right? To have an Obi-Wan Darth Maul clash.
Yeah.
And to get rid of Darth Maul once and for all, that would be pretty epic.
See, and I thought they're going to end this season with maybe Kanan and Ezra on the different sides. But do you think that they'll save that for season 4 finale at the end, where Kanan kills Ezra, Ezra kills Kanan?
Well, if it's true that season 4 would be the finale, then I think you'd have to take your main characters and carry them through the entire series before you learn their eventual fates.
Okay, and I don't think anyone's making it out of Rebels alive, because we haven't seen any of these characters in the original Star Wars trilogies. So I think bad shit's going to happen.
Well, there is the case of like Grand Admiral Thrawn. Like, we've seen him now come in, and so he's been around, but we haven't seen him.
All that canon's wiped, so those Thrawn books are wiped.
But what I'm saying is, he's a Grand Admiral at this point. In canon, right? We see him as Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yes.
But we haven't seen him up to this point. So there's lots of stuff going on in the backgrounds. So I think that we could have a couple of our characters survive. Having Kanan, Ezra survive, being Jedis running around the galaxy, I doubt that.
Yeah.
But I could see Hera surviving.
Okay.
It's a big galaxy, though. You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yoda hit a long time.
That's true.
Okay, so that was our little
Actually,
Rebels.
One more little point.
Go.
Just to what you said there. Yoda has been in contact with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then that communication later on where Yoda says, or Obi-Wan says, this boy is our final hope. And Yoda said, no, there is another. He's obviously referring to Leia.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say, no, actually there's Leia and there's Kanan and there's Ezra.
So that's a spoiler that they're going to die.
Possibly, yeah.
And I think they're both going to die horrible deaths.
Well,
and I hope
yeah.
so. Cause,
Maybe they're on Alderaan.
oh, I hope not. I hope not. Yeah.
Let's set up home on Alderaan. This is a safe, peaceful planet.
And then gone.
Okay, so our next story is Disney has revealed its new fall lineup for toys, and it's spreading the wealth again amongst many stores across North America. Walmart's got a set of 4 movie figures taking back this fall, including the ever-present Jyn Erso, Captain Cassian Andor, the Imperial Death Trooper, and the Scarif Stormtrooper Squad Leader. The 3.75-inch exclusives run for $12.99 each, or in the box set for $84, and each should be showing up on store shelves alongside their old favorites like Lando Calrissian and Ahsoka Tano from Rebels. Not to be outdone, Target has 3 of Walmart's 3 figures in the larger 6-inch form bundled together. The Death Trooper has an exclusive pauldron and ammo pack, while Erso has a hat and Captain Andor just looks like a bigger version of himself. Walgreens has a Black Series Episode 4 C-3PO stand, and it looks amazing. This 6-inch $20 figure sports a silver leg that most certainly always existed but never did. It's a conundrum. The next exclusive set comes from the fine folks online retailers at Entertainment Earth and the space between the original trilogy and the prequels. This Clone Troopers 4-pack of 6-inch black figures sells for $79.99. The set includes troopers from the 442nd Siege Battalion, 212th Attack Battalion, an Elite Shock Trooper, and one from the 501st Legion, or you can just call them green, yellow, red, and blue. Kohl's doesn't get a Black Series figure set. Kohl's gets the traditional 3.75-inch figures. Rebels Pow and Moroff face off against Death Trooper and Stormtroopers in this $34.99 4-pack of figures that you can probably find separately, and it's packed with plenty of accessories. And finally, we have Toys R Us with the Interact Tech Shadow Trooper. This $29.99 toy is guaranteed to be much harder to see than the original Stormtrooper, but just as entertaining. The Hasbro rep at Toy Fair showing off the Interact Tech Stormtrooper was losing her shit over the sound of this thing makes when you lay it down as if it were injured. I wonder how much money Disney is going to make off these new toys as we get closer to Christmas this year. So lots of different toys coming out. We knew this was going to happen when Disney took over the franchise. They're even more toy heavy than Lucasfilm was. They are marketing the crap out of these movies and making boatloads of money. Guys, are you going to be buying any of these toys? I know, Jason, you've already got one here, so I'm guessing your kids are going to be very excited at Christmas this year.
Yeah, I brought home a couple surprises for the kids on Friday. Force Friday came out. A lot of these figures that you were talking about, they're coming in different packages and different variations. Some of the 4-packs you see in 2-packs, you see them in singles. So basically, whatever kind of price point that you want to get into, you can spend as little as $10 for a figure. I know there's companies out there like Hot Toys where you can spend $200 for a single figure, and obviously the range and quality. The Black Series 6-inch figures are great. I find they're really articulated and they've got great molds. Actually, some of my favorites are the Disney Elite series.
I haven't seen those.
If you hit the Disney store,
okay,
it's a 6-inch figure, but they're die-cast metal.
Oh, wow.
So they've got some weight to them. They're heavy. They're more expensive. These are $20. The Disney's here in Canada, they're $32.
Okay.
So it's quite a bit more, but they've got great molds, and like I said, they've got weight to them. And they're beautiful figures.
I'm definitely gonna have to check out the Disney store.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, what about you? You buying any toys this year for your son?
I think the Rogue One set actually looks really good, and it's really interactive. Lots of little extra pieces to it. So if I was going to get any of the choices you just mentioned, that would definitely be the one because it's a lot of pieces for him to play with. I mean, I'm not buying for myself so much anymore as for him. So.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
As soon as he goes to bed,
him.
there's Jay playing with the toys.
I'll watch him playing. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Now here's the thing.
Pew, pew, pew.
When I was growing up, we played with our toys. Now, I don't have any kids, so if I did have kids, I'd be forcing them to rip open these boxes. Are you guys buying toys for your kids and then telling them, I can't open these boxes?
Yeah.
Just sit there and look at them.
I took the packages that I bought for my kids and I handed it to them and said, play with this.
Okay.
Ripped open the packages and they're having lots of fun with them. They're great figures. Even the $10 figures, they've got great molds to them. They're limited articulation, but for a kid playing, it's great. They're perfect and they love them.
And you?
For me, I had a lot of sets growing up that when I was older that I just still had in the box. And what I've been doing now is that's Marcus's birthday present. That's his Christmas present. I'll release it slowly because I'm not really gonna sell these things. I think it's better just for him to enjoy it. I agree.
And so you're
It's
letting him
to be
open
played.
them, play with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's always my biggest pet peeve is when I go to a buddy's house and I see I go up to his kids' room and there's these shelves full of these
Mhm.
box
The displays.
toys. And I'm like, are you kidding? These kids need to play with these toys. I know they're going to be worth a fortune. So if you're that parent that needs them in boxes, buy two. Put one
Yeah.
away in a storage room and let your kid play with the other one. For Christ's
Or like
sake.
comic books growing up. You had the comic you read and the comic you sealed up. And never
Yes.
touched.
Absolutely.
Actually, on my Instagram feed, I have the director of design for Hasbro. He follows me, and I posted a picture of my kids playing with the toys, and he commented on it saying, "Kids and open toys is the best thing ever." Like it's perfect.
I couldn't agree more.
They make these for the kids to play with, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're sitting on a box and a shelf.
In a display. You have friends who buy bookshelves and upon bookshelves to set up these displays. And when you die,
You mean in his mother's basement?
exactly.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
When you die, and what is going to happen to all these items? It's just going to go to Value Village and be played with anyways. Like you have to think about this.
Okay, so that's my rant on toys. I'm buying some. I don't even have kids, and I'm buying some, and I'm going to take them out of the boxes and play with them.
I wanted to mention that this Interact figure. There's the white version of it and the black version of it. And I know you guys know the Wilhelm scream, the famous.
Oh yes,
background.
Yeah.
This actually, if you throw this thing in the air, it'll make the Wilhelm scream
Really?
as it's tumbling to its doom.
Okay,
That's
I'm buying it just for that.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
I've seen
That's
some videos
awesome.
online of it doing it. It's hilarious.
Cool.
Wow. Now, sorry for this figure itself. It's all interactive. It's all within in the figure itself, or do you have to get a separate?
No, it's all
component
within
to
the
play.
figure itself.
Wow.
And depending on what you do with it, like if you've got the backpack hooked up to it, it makes backpack sounds.
Okay,
If he's holding his blaster, it makes blaster sounds. And
that's a
if
great.
you don't have the blaster, it makes like fighting sounds and the Wilhelm scream if you throw it.
That's great.
That's awesome. So our final story in Star Wars news today is at Comic-Con Russia. They revealed the new Rogue One Russian movie poster showing a rebel helmet floating in the water. But that isn't the most interesting thing on this poster as far as I'm concerned. It shows a 12 plus rating in the lower left corner, which equates to a PG-13 rating here in North America. This is the first time we've had a possible rating for the first of the Star Wars stories, Rogue One. Guys, what do you think about Rogue One being PG-13?
Well, if Rogue One is PG-13, it would be the third Star Wars movie that's PG-13. Revenge of the Sith was rated PG-13.
Yeah.
The Force Awakens was actually rated PG-13. And Rogue One, if that's true, then it's PG-13 as well.
It'll give it more of an edge, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. I'm anxious to see it with more of an edge. I know that they've recently done a lot of reshoots on Rogue One, and the story out there is saying that the movie came back too dark, and so Disney, being Disney trying to sell toys, they wanted to tone it down a little bit, make it a little, for a broader audience. So that's possibly why they did the reshoots, just to tone it down a little bit, but still kind of hitting that PG-13.
Well, I'm really hoping that this movie is a lot like Dirty Dozen. This is like the Sci-Fi Dirty Dozen, where it's more of a visceral war crime film. Where they're breaking in, they're doing their jobs, and it's not. And again, anti-heroes, right? Like you made some great comments before about how some of the characters are not going to be nice guys. They're going to be very aggressive. They're going to be very dark in their own ways. And really, you look at these characters, you've got some genocidal maniacs in some of the cases. So it's interesting.
And I'm hoping this movie comes out more like a Saving Private Ryan. I hope that these reshoots, and I heard the same thing you did, but I'm hoping these reshoots aren't to lighten this film. I'm hoping these reshoots are to darken it, and they didn't have enough blood, guts, and gore on the beach battles. And because I don't want another Star Wars movie that is, like the trilogies. I want something completely different. And if you're bringing in Steven Spielberg to, help with some of these war scenes, it's because he did Save a Private Ryan, and it's because there's going to be no lightsabers in this. There's going to be no Jedis. There are going to be a couple Force users and some. They said they're going to Jedha, which is the big Jedi or Force temple where Force users come and they gather here. And so, and
for the training.
just to pay homage to the Force, kind of like in Israel, the Wailing Wall.
Okay.
That's what Jedha is. Too close to Jedi for my liking, the naming, but yeah.
I think the Empire wouldn't have wiped it out.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen in this movie, and again, I'm just guessing. I think that the Empire comes to Jeddah to get the big crystal, a Kyber crystal that powers the Death Star's laser. That's what I think is going to happen. But I don't want this to be another Star Wars film. I want this to be dark, gritty, dirty, for adults. I don't mind if kids go see it, but if they're scared, that's their problem, not mine. So
now, being a person that has children, I want to take my kids to this thing, on the opening weekend. And being Star Wars, Star Wars has a broad, massive appeal from our generation all the way down to my son's 6 years old and he's totally into Star Wars. I mean, that's what, 3-4 generations of different people. I too would like to see Star Wars go off in a lot of different directions, but this being the first kind of independent or separate from the saga film, I think they have to keep it a little broader just to make sure people come in. And then as it builds, and a lot of people don't even know right now what this is.
There's still a lot of people that I've had people say, "Oh, is this the Rey story?" I'm like, no, read a newspaper.
Yeah, I showed this trailer to some people, and it was my mother-in-law. She saw Jin, and she was like, "Is that supposed to be Rey?" No, it's not. It's it's something different. It's before New Hope, and you have to start explaining it to people, and it gets lost.
It's Star Wars Episode 3.5, right?
Yeah, I mean, Rogue One is really built for the older Star Wars fans, and really that's why I think I'd prefer. Like you raise a really good point that if we want it to last, we want it to generate that revenue, it's got to have the broader appeal like Star Wars did versus Empire, right? It brought the kids in, it brought that first generation in. But this movie itself, the identifiable texture of this movie is it's for the older Star Wars fans. It's linked with the original trilogy. It's all about this, and having it darker and having it edgier would be really interesting. I would prefer that movie, but yeah, you raise a good point.
And see, what I'd like this film to turn into is that Blade Runner cult classic.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't fit the mold of any of the other Star Wars movies, and it's that one-off where everybody goes back and talks about it for 100 years. This was Star Wars. I know it doesn't look like Star Wars, but it was Star Wars.
The infamous Star Wars movie.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping this movie becomes. I'm more excited to see Rogue One than I was The Force Awakens, even with all that waiting 15 years to get another Star Wars movie. I'm more excited about Rogue One than I was The Force Awakens.
It's really, The Force Awakens just was sort of like, it's just re-bringing you back in the universe.
Reintroduction.
It's very familiar. I've seen this scope. I've seen this structure before. I've seen these characters before, just with different names. And it was just your introduction. Whereas Rogue One, you've got completely different people from different backgrounds, and you're not going to recognize anything in this. And this could be anything.
I think I'm kind of the opposite. I was substantially more excited to see The Force Awakens because it's got Han Solo, because it's got Chewbacca and R2-D2 and C-3PO and Princess Leia. General, she'll always be royalty to me. It had all these things that harken back to the original trilogy. That's it's an emotional draw for a lot of people, and I think that Rogue One is the ramp up to Rogue One. It's suffering a little bit because of that.
Yeah,
it doesn't have those visual cues that a lot of people saw with The Force Awakens. And so it's not going to do the same numbers.
No,
it's going to be a successful.
It's almost the underground Star Wars movie.
I said in one of my previous shows that The Force Awakens did 2.1 billion worldwide. I think this movie is going to do 1 billion worldwide. So I think it's going to do just under half. Oh, yeah. Wow. Because guys like me are going to go see it 4 or 5 times in the first 2 weeks.
If they do it right,
if it's good. I keep saying don't worry about the reshoots. I am not worried about the reshoots because I don't think Disney will put out a bad Star Wars movie. I think if it gets down to the final cut, they'll push it to May and do more reshoots. I just don't think they're willing to put the first Star Wars story out until it's ready, because if this one sucks, you're going to not get any more Star Wars stories. I don't think that people will go to them. I think this is... If this was the third or fourth one, maybe you can have a bad movie like Phantom Menace. But it's not. Sorry. I'm digging. Yeah. But it's the first one. You have to make it good. So I'm not worried.
I think it'll do better than 1 billion worldwide.
Really?
It's got the Star Wars name on it. I mean, just alone Star Wars on your marquee is going to pull people into the theater. I think it'll probably do in the 1.5 worldwide.
Okay.
Wow.
So that'll be number 3rd of all time then. So you think it'll go above Titanic?
No, the top 3 are all over 2 billion.
Titanic hit 2
Worldwide.
billion?
Yeah.
I thought number one's Avatar.
Avatar.
Titanic, and then Force Awakens.
Oh, I thought
For
Force
worldwide.
Awakens beat Titanic. Now I thought,
Not
no?
worldwide.
Okay.
Force Awakens went number 1 for North America.
Okay.
It did 900 something million just in North America alone, which is several hundred million more than Avatar. I think was 750.
Okay.
Like that. But I mean, you still have like Jurassic World. That's 1.6 or 1.7 billion worldwide.
So you don't think it'll get up to that number then?
I don't think it'll get close to 2 like those guys did. But I think in the neighborhood 1.4 or 1.5, just because it's got Star Wars attached to it, and all of us are going to go see it multiple times.
Oh yeah, I'm going to go see it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that first weekend. If it's good, I'm going to pre-buy my tickets, and then you might see me outside my local movie theater trying to sell them if it's not. But okay, so that was our first story, our last story in Star Wars news. Now we're into sci-fi news, and we've got Reuters reported this week that an all-star cast, including Anthony Hopkins, Ed Harris, Thaddeus Newton, come together in the television drama Westworld, an HBO sci-fi thriller series inspired by Michael Crichton's 1973 film. The 10-episode series is set in the intersection of the near future and reimagined past, and is a dark odyssey about the dawn of artificial consciousness and the evolution of sin, according to the cable network. At the series premiere in Los Angeles on Wednesday, actress Evan Rachel Wood said the script was the best writing I've ever read and maybe that I've ever been a part of. The sci-fi blockbuster, which is set in the Wild West, is expected to be HBO's next smash hit in a long line of popular programs. The big-budget show takes viewers into a fantasy world where people visit a theme park of sorts, packed with robots known as hosts, who exist solely to serve the human visitors and an unaware of their own artificial nature. Are you guys excited to see the new premiere of Westworld, which airs tonight? Now, this movie or this show won't be up until Monday afternoon or Monday evening, but it's Sunday when we're taping, and this Westworld is on tonight. So are you guys, is this on your radar? Are you going to watch it?
It's really kind of on the fringes of my radar. I mean, the original movie was 1973.
Yeah.
I have seen it when I was younger. I think it broadcast on television. It was one of those movies during that era of movie making where sci-fi was dark.
Yeah.
It was dark and grim and apocalyptic, and it's actually one of the success reasons for Star Wars, because Star Wars came out and it's a little hopeful and happy. The good guys win in the end, that kind of thing. I know with Westworld, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it since 1973, the guy's face comes off at the end and he's a robot underneath and he doesn't understand what's going on. Actually, I think Family Guy did a spoof on it one time, talking about the dark sci-fi movies of the 70s. I'm too far removed from it. I've seen it once. I barely remember it. I might check it out. It's HBO.
Yeah.
Just because it's HBO, I'll probably check it out because Game of Thrones is just the greatest thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Jay?
Well, it can go a lot of ways with this show. So this could go fantastic. This could go wrong. I've seen similar sci-fi projects on TV recently where they've tried this, where it's a play park for humans in the future and they're robots and they don't realize they're robots, and that's failed miserably. But that being said, Westworld, I mean, you're introducing some text here that they can really build on. And if the writing staff is strong enough and their character development is good enough, you're going to see like Blade Runner-esque things where the robots come back and they self-identify, and what do they do? And it's this world run amok, and you can have a lot of fun with that. I mean, you're going to have your Game of Thrones, your sexual scenes probably throughout, because it's a park of sin, it's a park of murder. So you get your sex and violence all over the place, which is going to bring a lot of viewers right off the bat. But can they keep you with the story? Can they keep you with the characters? That's the trick. If they can hold on to you, it's going to be great.
And with me, I honestly, this wasn't on my radar at all till I was putting the show rundown together. I'd seen a couple of commercials, but I wasn't going to watch it. I am going to watch tonight's opening episode. I've got it set to tape on the PVR. But if they don't hook me right away in the first episode, like Game of Thrones hooked me in that first episode where they push the kid out the window at the end. I was like, and spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen that, too bad.
Everybody dies.
Yeah. If they can hook me in the first episode, I'll probably watch it. But if they don't, I probably will never look at the show again. It's there's too much good TV out there, and I'm watching a lot of it, and I don't have a lot of time. So I have a trouble. Probably what might happen is if they don't hook me, I'll just tape them all and watch it in 3 years as a binge weekend. That might happen, but
I've done that in a few shows.
Yeah. So anything to add before we move on to
just going with what you said, I mean, they do have a really good chance to make it a really cerebral show if the writing's good enough. I mean, the subject matter, you've got chances to really make a good show. But again, it comes down to writing, and it comes down to hooking us right away.
Yeah.
You know, I might give it 2 episodes myself, but if not 2 episodes,
if it's not predictable plot twists, you know, if I'm not seeing, oh, this is how it's going to end 20 minutes in, I'll stay on.
Yeah, and that's the big mistake network television is making right now. Network television is giving us the same old stories, the same predictability, and I think that's why HBO is so good at what they do. Is they're not giving us that. I did not predict in Game of Thrones that everybody was going to die at that wedding. Okay, I did not.
Speaking of spoiler alert.
Yeah, but I hadn't read the books. And again, if you haven't seen Game of Thrones by now, well, too bad. Don't watch my show.
We're on season 6 now?
Yeah.
Up to 7?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
we're beyond the books now, so yeah.
So, and I didn't read the books though. That's why I think I enjoyed it so much, because I knew nothing about what was going to happen, and I haven't seen the 1973 Westworld movie.
Oh yeah.
So again, I think I'm going to be very surprised as to how this goes down.
Yul Brynner did a great job, so let's just hope the guy replacing him can fill in those shoes.
All right.
Interesting to see if because they're robots. Interesting to see if they bring on like a Yul Brynner clone.
Yeah.
They could do it around the background.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
With technology now, the way they
There's
did.
the menace.
Yeah, in Captain America: Civil War, where they showed the young Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They could totally do that. Yeah. All right. So the next piece of sci-fi news is not so much sci-fi, or is it? If SpaceX founder Elon Musk plans to establish a city on Mars, it sounds like science fiction. Then consider the name of his first passenger ship. The answer lies in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the comedic series about the travels of Earth's last surviving man. Musk is leaning towards the name Heart of Gold, the starship in the novel with the infinite improbability drive. I like the fact that it's driven by an infinite improbability, Musk said in presenting his long-awaited Mars colonization plan this week, because I think our ship is also extremely improbable. But the acronym is not the best, he chuckled. All aboard the Hog? So the name generated applause at the International Astronautical Congress in Mexico, where Musk provided elaborate details of his bold plans to fly scores of humans to Mars and set up a self-sustaining city with 1 million people, as big as San Jose, California. For the past decade, Musk has borrowed from science fiction and fantasy when naming his rocket engines, capsules, and other space doodads. Musk has already plumbed the Star Wars heavily for names, as well as work by the late Scottish science fiction writer Ian M. Banks. SpaceX's Falcon rocket is a nod to the Millennium Falcon, piloted by Han Solo. It's powered by Merlin engines. NASA traditionally has dipped into mythology for names as well. Projects Mercury and Apollo, the Saturn V Saturn V moon rocket. The space shuttles were named after seafaring ships. Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour, and the shuttle prototype Enterprise was the exception, named after the Star Trek greatest ship of all time. United Launch Alliance also favors mythology with longtime Atlas rocket and even bigger still in development, Vulcan. Optimistically, according to Musk, Heart of Gold could blast off from Florida in late 2024 and arrive at the Red Planet in 2025. A Mars launching window is available only every 26 months and comes at a reasonable cost of $10 billion US per person. So just to my mother-in-law out there, you've never liked me. You've always said you wish that my wife would have never married me. So for Christmas, get me a $10 billion ticket to Mars and you're rid of me forever. Because I would go. If I had $10 billion, I would go on this. And I'll tell you guys why.
Is this one way?
One way. You're not coming home. I don't have any kids. My wife, you know what? We've been together for 10, 11 years now. That's long enough. I'd be off to Mars.
I'd be making it through the day.
I'd be off to Mars. I'm telling you guys, who wouldn't want to go to Mars?
Well, you'd miss Star Wars 10, 11, and 12.
With the technology that's coming up, we'll probably be live streaming up there.
Sure.
Possibly, yeah. Some theaters up there.
Yep.
I wouldn't be the first. You look at the first visitors to North America, that never ended well. Most of them died from dysentery, or they're wiped out by the native population, or something went wrong terribly. It took a few tries to establish. So I don't know if those first goers are going to make out so well. They're very brave and will be amazing, and they're going to have amazing memories right up until their untimely death.
So if I'm texting you after being up there for 5 years, you'll catch the next shuttle.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You grew all the space potatoes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Then we'll come eat them. It's interesting that, I know that recently the U.S. just passed a bill that they're going to go to Mars as well. There was a pretty unanimous between both sides of the government that we're going to do this. But with these billionaires like Elon Musk, maybe he just decided one weekend, Mars is pretty cool. I think I should go there too. And with Tesla ramping up their production of like a $30,000 electric car, I think that thing is going to go gangbusters. Tesla's stock market or stock prices are going to go through the roof. He's going to have the money to do whatever he wants.
Absolutely.
And him being crazy enough.
He's nuts. That guy is certifiably nuts.
He'll do it, yeah.
I could see him doing it, but not a million people. I could see a couple hundred.
I don't know a million people that have $10 billion each.
Is it a $10 billion ticket, or is that just the cost of the launch?
That's just the cost to get them there.
No, that's your ticket price. If you want on, you got to give them $10 billion.
Well, if everybody who was worth $10 billion left the planet, it'd probably be better place.
Yeah. Except for Lucas.
Except for
I don't want George to go.
Or Elon Musk.
Presidential candidate.
He says he's worth $10 billion.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got any money left.
He's got like $20.
We're going to have a reality show, hopefully after he loses, where he's trying to make his money back, I don't know, ex-presidents or something, and he'll get on a couple of the other guys that lost. And
he just needs to open up more charities that he can, help.
What would you think, though, a big brother with all the guys who've lost as president? Think about those guys in one house.
I heard an interesting thought on the internet. Someone talking about Truman Show style of internet reality show.
Yeah.
Make Trump believe that he's won the presidency. And then we just record him and watch him as he reacts with.
Well, yeah, he wouldn't really realize anyways. He'd fly him around.
That'd be awesome.
Do it Truman style and see how horrible it goes.
I mean, he'd do as much work on the reality show as he would in real life, so...
All right, so now we're going to move into the television world of science fiction. And do you remember back to the brilliant superhero Fight Club trailer that aired a few years back, teaming up the respective heroes of Arrow and the Flash in the big crossover episodes? Well, as many of you who have been paying attention to this arena will have noticed, things have expanded slightly since then. And the world has gotten even bigger with the additions of Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow. The CW will bring together the Green Arrow, Stephen Amell, the Flash, Grant Gustin, Supergirl, Melissa Benoist, Atom, Brandon Ruth, White Canary, Katie Loitz, and Firestorm, France Darnett, with Felicity, Cisco, Diggle, and the Martian Manhunter all looking on in support for this huge fight. Yep, you heard that right. Supergirl finally gets to meet the rest of the citizens of her new universe, and on this basis alone, I'm pretty excited about the big week-long premieres of the CW superheroes. I think it's going to be great. I'm just curious if they're going to, like you said earlier, overuse the Flash to go bring Supergirl into this universe. Because for those of you who don't know, Supergirl, I think, is on Earth 3, and they're on Earth 1, the rest of them. So Flash seems to be the only guy that can go through the space and go to different universes,
dimensions. Yeah.
So
it's just crazy because they just overuse it. He's just a glorified ferryman now, just back and forth. Okay.
Yeah. All aboard the Flash train.
Let's go. I don't know. I think it's a weird plot device they're using right now. It needs to because it's opening up a lot of things, but it's maybe too much at this point. Really, do we have this much television time to watch this many possible outcome scenarios? spin-off series, character series. I don't know.
Well, and Arrow's got one season left, I think.
That's true.
And I wonder if they're setting up, and something I'm going to be talking about in the next story. I wonder if they're setting up a Justice League. I wonder if CW is going to bring all these superheroes together eventually and have a Justice League.
If it was a Justice League show, fine. But if it's every character gets their spin-off show, I mean, I might watch the Martian Manhunter. That'd be interesting. But that's about it.
Yeah, Martian Manhunter right now is on Supergirl.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch him, you got to watch Supergirl. Are you watching any of the TV shows, Jason?
No. My DC entertainment is limited to the films.
So you've been really disappointed lately.
I actually liked Superman versus Batman.
Me too.
I did too.
I thought it was a good show. I mean, it came out and a lot of people hated it, but I mean, watching it, it's that thing that people want. It's dark, it's gritty, and people saying, "Oh, but it's too dark."
Yeah,
well,
Batman's murdering people.
What do you want?
Yeah,
people want dark, and they give it to them, and then oh no, it's too much.
Well, and that's what scares me is because I also liked Batman v Superman. I even liked the Ultimate Edition more. I thought it filled in a few little plot holes here and there. But with all this complaint, are we going to get a Justice League where they're joking around like they do in Captain America Civil War? Because I don't want that.
No.
I want a dark Justice League.
Yeah, if Justice League goes the dark way versus where Marvel was sort of lighthearted and only gets hit in dark occasionally, that could be really interesting. That would bring it back because right now, the field is getting pretty full. So let's go in a different direction by all means. But there was some great parts of Superman versus Batman. You look at how dark Lex Luthor's character is internally, and it's just this fragile human being. Interesting.
And that's what I want. That's what I want to see in the TV shows is where's Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
Haven't seen him anywhere. You've seen a couple little spoilers, hints in Arrow where you see LexCorp in the background or a LexCorp truck, but we haven't heard or talked about Lex Luthor.
Do a better job than they did in Smallville.
A question for you guys: are the movies and the TV shows in the same universe?
Yes. But
it depends on the world.
It's from my understanding, the movie is Earth 4. So Earth.
You lost me already.
Okay, in DC, there's many different universes, and in each universe, anything can be happening. So Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow are all on Earth 1, which is just a different universe. And then I don't think we've seen anything on Earth 2 yet. Earth 3 is Supergirl, and Earth 4 is the movies. So that's how DC says that everything that's happening is always happening in DC.
Yeah,
so you could see one of the movie characters cross over into the TV show, possibly. They just want to leave it open for the possibilities.
Can we have multiple Supermans then?
Yes, we could. That is a
Bizarro
possibility.
Superman, evil Superman.
But I mean, you could have both characters because there's a different actor that plays Superman on TV.
Yes.
So
I don't think we would, though. I don't think they'd bring the movie actors into the TV world unless they're not already represented. Like, for example, Wonder Woman from the movies could come into the TV shows because they haven't shown TV Wonder Woman yet.
I hope so.
But I don't think... Oh, she was the best part of Batman. Yeah. No.
Shows up. Whoa, that's a really different reality.
Yeah, good makeup, though, if they can make her look young again. So it's a very DC is very confusing in its universes and alternate realities, but that's something that I always liked as a kid reading the comic books is that they really went deep into your imagination and they didn't dumb it down for people. They assumed that their readers were intelligent enough to figure all of this out, whereas I think Marvel didn't do that. They were more the lighthearted superheroes, kids, spoon feed.
Now with the Marvel universe. Like I'm watching Jessica Jones and
fantastic.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
I'll be watching Luke Cage. I really like those. Netflix is doing a great job on those. They're running all in parallel universe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
They're crossover definitely going to happen.
Because they're referencing the Avengers and Jessica Jones.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And actually, to your earlier point, if you've seen the Justice League trailer, just that little snippet that came out, I think, San Diego.
Where he goes and tries to find the guy.
Yeah, he's talking to the Flash. He's talking to,
There's a lot of little comical quips in that. He's making all these little jokes about Aquaman being Fishman. Or
you're the guy who talks to fish.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate Aquaman. Wow.
I don't think you're going to hate Jason Momoa.
No.
I think he's going to take Aquaman.
If he has the intensity, the intensity, that's what you need.
Yeah.
As long as he's not blonde.
Yeah.
He made those little jokes with Wonder Woman. He made a joke with Flash.
Yeah.
And the whole thing. Or with the whole thing with Flash and him catching the thing and She's like, I'm in. I'm sold. Like, where do I sign up?
And I'm
That many
okay.
friends.
I'm okay with those little jokes, just as long as the whole movie doesn't become a joke. I want to keep the dark of DC dark. Like Arrow's dark on TV. It's dark. They don't go to too many joke places there, and I like that about Arrow. So that's tying into the final news story of the day. So Supergirl is now having the addition of Tyler Hoechlin, and he's super excited to be joining the cast of Supergirl for season 2 as the Great One himself, Kal-El, better known as Superman. What will this do for the series? Is it a desperation to keep Supergirl on the air, or is it a brilliant move in setting us up for Justice League TV series when Arrow's run its course? Only time will tell, but you can be sure that the season 2 premiere will be bringing in a bigger audience than most anticipate to see how they are going to use Superman's character in the TV world. So, to me, reeks of desperation. As I was telling you guys before, it was on CBS. It's now moved to the CW. They don't think she can stand on her own, and I really think Melissa Benoist is a great actress. I watched Supergirl season 1. I enjoyed it. Wasn't my favorite. I like The Flash. That's my favorite TV show going right now, but it was right on par with Arrow. And I don't think they needed Superman in this. I think they're going to dilute the Supergirl character by bringing him in, and I wish they hadn't have done it.
It's almost like my big brother's coming in to save me, and it's just like, I don't know about that. Like, it's supposed to be about her and her definition and her development of a character. I agree. I mean, moving around networks isn't helping the show at all, and it is a little lighter in tone, really. But if they built on it and they get a little more edgy, just not too dark. I didn't really appreciate the Superman movies and what some of the way they did with the first one. But if they darken the character a little bit and put more of an edge on her, I think that would be great.
Yeah,
or a female foil instead of a male foil.
Yeah, that would be really good, which they've done in Legends of Tomorrow. There's a lot of great female foils in that one. And if they move that to Supergirl, it would just, I think it would help the story along. But again, I'm not excited to see Superman and Supergirl. What do you think about that?
I haven't watched the show. I'm waiting for Superdog to come on.
Oh, what was his name? Crypto, Superdog.
Really, Crypto?
Yeah.
I remember that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Superboy as well?
Yeah, Superboy.
Didn't Jimmy Olsen get some superpowers at one time? Or something?
Heck, Lois Lane once got switched with Superman's powers at one point too. Everybody's had superpowers at one point, just for a day.
So see, we still have a lot more barrels to scrape the bottom of.
Yeah.
Years of comics.
And with that, we've scraped the bottom of the barrel of this show. So we're going to wrap up. Thanks again to Jason for being on the show. Jason, where can they find your charity Twitter handle?
Best place to find me is on Instagram. If you follow @VintageStarWars, there'll be links to all the things I was talking about: Trench Run Rebels, Black Death Crew, Arctic Assault. Find me on Instagram.
And Jason, do you want anyone to find you? Or
no, don't find me at all.
Okay, so and you can find me on Twitter @MovieGuySci-Fi, or you can email me. Let me know what you thought of the show. Put some comments in the comment section below. My email address is movieguySci-fi@gmail.com. Thanks to my guests for being on the show, and remember, everybody, nerds rule the world.